Well, welcome, young and old, to the Greatest Escape Room Show. I'm Tone, and welcome to Puzzle Talk. And I'm here with the whole crew. The whole crew.
Smash
if you've
into
been
one
on Puzzle
frame.
Talk, you are in the room.
Yep.
So, left to right, we've got Mike on the left. Hey, Mike.
Hi.
We've got Frank in the middle.
What's up, everybody?
And we've got Christina.
Hello.
Hello, Christina. So, welcome to the show. We've got lots of stuff to go over today. And you'll notice that the camera on you guys, because I'm noticing this now, is a little bit lagging. And I think that's actually just because the computer's processing power is really being put to the test these days. So we're a little pushing it. But soon we will be done with Freak Show and things will get back to normal. And then we have to buy Mike his own computer that we can put Premiere on.
Yeah. Yep.
So, let's get right into it. Our first topic today, tips from Gamemasters.
Right, so if you're playing an escape room, these are tips for the best way to solve it and little tricks that we've learned just from watching bunches of games.
So, who wants to start? If somebody was like, I'm gonna win this escape room come hell or high water, I need some tips. You guys have run games. What do I do?
Answer the phone.
Answer the phone.
If the phone rings in the game, you answer the phone. That would actually be probably important. But the first thing I tell everybody is to look everywhere. I mean, you never know when you're going to find something that's relevant. You're never going to know if you look under. Now, that doesn't mean breaking things. Just keep that in mind. If the thing is stuck down, you're not tearing it off. But you do want to take a good look at everything and see what things might happen to go together, even if they're on opposite sides of the room from each other.
That's something. Christina?
I mean, I think one of the most basic pieces of advice we can give people is just to communicate with your teammates. Like, last night we just had a group where one of the players was staring at a very critical piece of a puzzle and just didn't say anything. And so he didn't notice what was going on, and he didn't give the opportunity for anyone else to notice what was going on with it.
Just to piggyback off that, I would say if you're an adult with kids in the group, listen to the kids.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Listen to the kids.
9 times out of 10, the kids are far more perceptive than you are, and they understand it. And I've seen too many instances of parents telling kids to be quiet. They don't know what they're doing, and then they end up losing the game. And when we go in to show them the answers, the kid goes, "I told you." And
it goes back a little bit to what we were talking about last week about working with others, working in teams. Listen to each other's ideas. That is very important because you never know when someone's going to have.
It doesn't matter if you don't know them either. Just
exactly.
Collaborate.
Yeah.
I guess my big thing would be listen to the game master.
Yes.
It's a little contingent on how the game master would kind of deliver the rules, but we're not trying to misdirect you. When we say don't rip the corn stalks off in our F5 game, we mean don't rip the corn stalks off. I'm not trying to tell you that
That's what they want us to think.
Yeah. We're not doing that.
I'm not trying to deceive you. It just means you're going to break something. So don't act surprised when I come running in there and yell at you for ripping the corn stalks off, because that's set design. We don't go out of our way to deceive you, but it is contingent on the game master being choosing the words carefully, so as not to make people believe we're deceiving them. But 9 times out of 10, everything that we say is intentional to keep you away from breaking the rules. So listen to what we're saying. We're not trying to make fools of you. So
there is a tip that was passed on to me when we were playing a game in the city at Comnata Quest.
Okay.
That I very rarely am about to say that my mind is blown by a tactic, but on this particular scenario, this was actually Johnny.
Mm-hmm.
We were struggling with one part of the game, and he just out of nowhere solves this puzzle. We're like, how the hell did you do this? And he goes, well, I figured this area was important because that's where they aim the camera.
Yeah, that's actually a really big tip. Yeah, difficult to do, and like F5, you can't really do that. F5 doesn't kind of just gets a real general view of the room because it's a big open space.
The F5 camera work is just kind of designed to.
It's got
to cover the space. Witch Hunt's a little bit more.
But for a smaller, more intimate room, that is definitely a very good.
Witch Hunt, Boogeyman. I'm sure we'll be doing it in Freak Show because even if everything in your game is automated, you still need to know it went off.
Yeah.
So you are aiming your cameras at the important aspects of the game. So more than likely, if a camera is aimed at something that's not just a broad stroke, like a corner camera that's obviously aimed at the whole room, probably isn't going to help you in this tactic. But if there's a camera that's like, right here, it's probably here for a reason. Something is important.
That's why he has his camera to himself and we're stuck in a 3-shot.
It's a better composed 3-shot.
I'm the star of the show, Frank. So,
and yeah, I mean that goes to one of the other general ones that I've said. Pay attention to the details. You're going around like we were saying. You see a symbol on one wall, it might equate to something on the other wall. Just look for things like that. Again, that doesn't mean tear stuff up, but it does mean if you see a symbol on the wall, chances are it's not random. It's very unlikely that there's going to be like red herrings, like random symbols and things. Now, on the same token, if there's a price tag on something, that is probably not a clue. That is just a price tag.
I think it was at Escape the Supermarket.
Well, see, that would make sense though. I mean, for a scenario like that would a price tag would make sense since that's part of the theme.
Yeah,
such a cute, dumb little concept.
A price sticker on a table that is supposed to be in the 1600s, probably is, that's
or
just
like
oversight.
The serial number on the bottom of the table, like certain things you just can't get rid of.
One of my friends went for the IKEA number. We were playing The Office in the city. The IKEA number on the bottom of the rug, he took very, very seriously, and I'm like, dude, no. It's just the IKEA number.
I had to sand off in F5. There's like a patch where some of the red paint had smeared off on the floor, and people thought the serial number was the answer. And oddly enough, the numbers, it was like 12148. So they managed to get one of the locks open. Just because by total coincidence, the answer was on the floor. Yeah. So I had to go in and sand the number off the floor.
Well, that's like, remember when we were building QRZ?
Yeah.
And we were framing it up, and we had put some of the foam boards up, and Dan Wills took a pencil and wrote a measurement.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people I have had to tell that that's the address of Lib's Wine and Tapas because they thought it was a puzzle?
Wasn't that done in foam, too?
Yeah, so there's no getting rid of it. Like, now, no matter what you do, the indentation's there. I filled it. I actually spray foamed over the top of that and then sanded it. You can still see it.
God damn it, Dan.
The moment he did that, I was like, no! But, so yeah, I guess kind of from learning from watching other people play too, like, we were talking before there about coordination and, really conversing over everything. I've seen, like David and Lisa play at Room Escape Artists, and
well, they are tacticians when it comes to that.
And it's like they go in, and it is like I don't know if any of our viewers have ever watched like Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen show or anything like that. They're like cooks in the kitchen, where like everything is constantly verbal. Like, okay, I am looking under the bed right now, and I see, there's a box under here. It's got a 4-digit code. Anyone have anything for a 4-digit code? No, but I'm looking at a poster on the wall, and this poster, like, they are literally telling every element of everything they see and do, so that everyone in the room knows what pacing and what they're working on. So that is a huge element, because 9 times out of 10, I watch people waste time repeating things people already did that are wrong.
Right, yeah, so communication's key.
That happens in the Witch Hunt game all the time. They try to find the one chest, and someone will walk up to it, try to lift it open to find out it doesn't work, and then they'll walk away. And then somebody else comes and tries to open the box. They walk away, then the next person comes. And when you have a group of 13 people doing that, it's like, at a certain point...
You probably just killed 13 minutes of a game.
Yeah.
And they lost
Yeah.
That 13 minutes would have made could have potentially made the
You'd
difference.
figure after like the 5th person, they'd just be like, one of the other 13 would see them trying to open the box and be like, no, I just tried that. 5 of us just tried that. Stop doing that. It doesn't work.
If you feel strongly about an answer, let more than one person check that answer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we see people just put the combination in the lock wrong.
And that's actually a good transition to the next thing I was going to say. Know how to use the locks. And all that really is look for the little arrows for where you're supposed to line it up and go according to that, because people will spend minutes putting in the right answer in the wrong place on the lock.
Yep.
So yeah, look for the arrows. No matter what kind of lock it is, they usually have little arrows.
On that note, we are American. We get a lot of European players, oddly enough. If there are dates in the game,
yes.
The date is American style. Not
Yes.
it's month
I'm sure
day.
in Europe it's probably different.
It's
but,
month day,
yeah.
not month. It's month day here,
Yeah.
day month there.
Yeah.
We had a group
Yeah.
from France playing F5, and they kept putting the answer to the horse stall lock in,
Yep.
but they were doing it day month. So I had to go in there, and we all laughed about it. But still, it's
our Morristown,
there's been
New
a few
Jersey
groups.
location, which is where we stream Puzzle Talk from, is directly across the street from an International Hyatt that gets tons of international companies that stay for corporate events and meetings, and then come and play with us for team building events. So that is a huge element we deal with a lot is multicultural and how they dictate certain elements of the game. You kind of see the gaps there, as far as language barriers and things like that. But yeah, that's a big one. Are we missing anything?
I think, even again, basically just with the locks, knowing what it is you're trying to solve on the locks, whether it's numbers or letters, just know what you're looking for within the room.
And communicate that to
Yes.
everyone else in the room, yeah.
Don't spend too much time on one thing. If you've spent even 5 minutes on a puzzle and you're stumped, change gears.
Right.
Move on to something else. Let another person of the team look at that puzzle. You go to something else. Fresh minds might come up with something new.
Even individual locks. Sometimes if you're working on a lock for a little while and you're just not getting it, let someone else take over. You never know what they're going to see that you didn't.
Having said, call back to previous tip, make sure you communicate what you already did to the new person.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I tried this code.
An extra 20 seconds of talk time can sometimes make a huge amount of difference.
Yeah.
Frank and I actually did this one really cool event down the shore where it was for a, what company was that? Where we had all the nurses rotating in and out.
Oh, it was a hospital.
Yeah, but
I don't remember
division was all
specifically.
nurses.
Yeah, I don't remember specifically the hospital.
Well, essentially the way this event ran was there was 200 people, and instead of taking on all 200 at a time, they actually couldn't let all of their medical staff out of the building in one shot,
Right.
because then who's taking care of patients?
Right.
So they were letting them out in groups of 10 to 15, and basically the group would go into our tent, they'd play their portion of the game, and they'd have 10 minutes. And then the next group would come out, and they would have to actually describe what they already did to the next group so that they could take over. And it kind of worked very similar to how it worked in the hospital for them.
In shifts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true. That's
So
a good
it-
point.
it
It
played
actually
in.
worked out for them.
But it was an awesome communication study
Yeah.
to see just how many of these groups actually told the next group what was going on, and then how many times they didn't, and the next group was so pissed off at the previous. So, yeah. Anything else?
There's always going to be more, but I mean, I'm
could go
sure
all day.
we have a lot of owners watching.
Yeah, if you have any awesome tips for players, comment them below and share your tips so other people can see them. I'm sure we didn't cover everything, but those are our best tips from Gamemasters at Trapdoor. Thanks for what? No, here we go. Next topic. The Room Escape conferences.
Yes.
This was kind of requested that we discuss this a bit more, so here we are. As we had spoken about last week, Frank and I have attended 2 Room Escape conferences.
I think it's the 4th now. This is the 4th year.
Yeah. We spoke at one.
Yeah.
We don't have time for it anymore. But I would go back. It's not that I'm against the Room Escape conference.
Yeah.
By all means, if you're new to the industry, go to the Room Escape conference.
It's definitely more helpful for someone new to the industry than someone who's been in it for years. Yeah, at this point.
But I guess what do our really kind of broken down takeaways from these and kind of what you're gonna get out of it. If you're getting into this industry and you really don't have much background experience, there is a massive wealth of info there.
Yeah.
Now, certain things
on every aspect of it, from permits to games and
yeah. Like I remember when we did the one with 5 Wits. And we walked out of this one and we were like, we wish we had sat in on half of this fire code stuff before we ever opened Morristown. Yeah. We learned it all the hard way.
Yeah.
So you can go to seminars and learn all about fire safety and fire codes. You can go to seminars and learn about puzzle structure. You can go to seminars and learn kind of very small basics of things like Arduino and Raspberry Pi and stuff like that.
How Gamemasters should conduct themselves from everything from beginning to end, A to Z.
Now, having said that, we saw some really bad seminars too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Mega Games.
I mean, that was
it was a seminar on Mega Games, and it was basically a seminar about a LARP.
Yeah, it was like one big commercial for their particular thing. It wasn't really helpful for Mega Games in general.
Not even.
Which we're always thinking about.
We do Mega Games.
Yeah.
Our corporate events are sometimes upwards of a couple hundred people.
Well, yeah, like we were just saying, the thing with the hospital was kind of a Mega Game.
So, it's like we've run Mega Games. There's some.
We walked out of that
most enjoyable things to. Yeah, we walked out of that.
Yeah, we walked out of that
seminar. So, you're going to find all different kinds of stuff. They have a showroom floor where there's always people selling stuff. I cringe every time I see someone buying things. Just because it's like you're buying a prop, you have no idea how this prop works, and as soon as it breaks on you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Estevez. He bought a picture frame prop.
Mm-hmm. Just tell everybody how it works. So
and it broke.
It
broke before they got it to the shop. So now it, I think, hangs in their lobby.
Interesting. I mean, I think it would be cool to kind of buy some of these props to reverse engineer.
At this point, I don't think they sell anything that we don't know how to.
Yeah.
nothing
There's on the showroom floor that we can't engineer.
Yeah,
but again, if we were just starting up, it would be good.
I mean, there are so many tutorials out there about how to just build anything. I think we've talked about this at length now too. The technology's pretty accessible. Sorry.
Mike's leaving the camera.
I've had it. I quit. For the
Just
20th
drifting
time.
out as he talks.
No, but I mean, like, the technology's all there. So, I mean, like, it's pretty accessible now. So, I mean, you could just build your own stuff. But, I mean, it's... granted, you don't...
No, but it is always good to see something in person and be able to
that's what I like to do. I like to reverse engineer stuff just to see how it works.
So much of that stuff, even by year 2, was like, this is just archetype A, B, C, D,
right.
And that's all that's really there. And there's people selling games.
Yeah.
But if you're getting into this industry, in my opinion, for the right reasons, you're not buying anyone's game there. We'll start that war again, I guess. But
there's home games there. There's David and Lisa have their own booth.
Oh yeah, for promoting the blog.
Yeah. So there's other things too. There was the thing with the scents that I really wanted to work. There's the thing that shoots the scents out. It's really for horror, but they put it...
Christina are actually talking about that on the right here, that for Freak Show, we got to get like cotton candy, popcorn.
See, that would be a good scent.
Morning Dew.
They had some really nasty scents.
We should have used it for F5. Manure, corn.
I mean, they have those too. They had, oh my god, they had like the zombie dead scent that was just hideous. Probably very accurate, but not something I would want in my game. Just because you don't want your customers vomiting. So, you would cotton candy, popcorn, yes, that would probably be pretty good. But we tried in Witch Hunt. We tried like that.
That little which
The wooden. It's supposed to be the wooden musty kind of scent.
It smells all right, but I mean it dissipates after like 30
it's
seconds.
pretty quick. So it's like it's not. It turned out not to be worth it for us, but again, doesn't mean it's not worth it for other people. But they have little stuff like that at the conferences that is always interesting to look at.
Has anyone in our viewing audience been to a Room Escape conference yet? Comment below, let us know. I'd be interested to see what your opinions were. I know Brian watches a lot, and Brian obviously has been there because...
we met him there.
Yeah, and
And of course on YouTube we have all of our videos from when we went and roundtable discussions we had with people in all parts of the industry. So it's some really cool stuff to watch. You should definitely check that out as well.
Yeah, like we talked about, you're going to find that there's a ton of issues as far as the fact that we filmed all of it on our cell phones.
Right.
So there's days, there were days we were there where it was loud. It was so loud. But we got a lot of good content in there from a lot of different owners and a lot of different companies. The Room Escape conferences are held by a company called Transworld. They're very particularly haunt industry.
Yeah.
And also capitalizing on the escape room industry now. But you could kind of tell that their origins are all haunt.
Yeah. Well, that's the scent thing, the corpse scent. That's from the haunt industry.
Yeah, a lot of the booths at the showroom floor. And even some of the seminars are very haunt industry based. A lot of speakers are haunt industry.
I went to one that was putting an escape room in your haunt.
Right.
Yeah, just to see how they...
It sounds like they all just kind of feed into one another. There's just a lot of homogeny going on, so that's cool.
One hand washes the other to a degree in those. And let's see. We have a new comment from Big Booty. I have not been to a Room Escape conference, but I did do an escape room where we had to break a bar of soap to get a key and had to cut a wire to open up a door. It was a prison-themed room.
Are you sure you had to cut that wire?
Did you drop the soap? Big booty and all?
Boo.
You brought it on yourself. You brought it on yourself, Big Booty.
I'm sure you're a wonderful person.
Yeah.
At least I certainly hope so.
But I guess a bar of soap would not be horrible, but then you'd have to make a new bar of soap for every game.
You just buy a lot of soap, or you go to a lot of hotels.
Whittle it
out.
out. Depending on how big the key is.
There are tutorials online about how to make your own soap.
Yeah.
Bars. So I can't imagine it's any different than doing the Iceman statuette that we had to do for Puzzles and Corks. You just make the mold and you just pop the key in, drop in the elements, and there you go.
But cutting a wire is a dangerous thing for an escape room to have, because then which wire do they cut and which one do they not cut? And if they cut the wrong, if they just happen to see a wire and cut it, you don't want that to be happening.
One of the things they had at the conferences were the workshops. Not to say that those weren't valuable, but they were too hard to follow along.
Like the Arduino one. Yeah. Especially because you had to pay extra to get.
Yeah, you got to walk in with a lot of background knowledge to kind of take part in those. So I don't think that worked out that well. But like we said even last week, the biggest thing that comes out of these things is meeting people.
Networking is always good.
And kind of seeing that you're in a very, very big pond. And there's all different size fish in this pond. There's multi-million-dollar escape room companies at this point, and then there's $30,000 escape room companies. So
the thing that I got from it that I was very happy about was that the general direction the industry was heading in was the direction that we were kind of headed in as well.
Right.
Like we felt the way that the industry was shifting, and we also got that impression from everybody we were meeting that the industry was shifting that way. So it's always good to see that your future plans are validated and that you're heading in the right direction as a business.
Well, I mean, there was always predictions right off the start that were talked about at the first Room Escape conference that the haunt world was going to take over the industry. In a large part, it has.
Yeah.
Because they already had special effects artists, and they already had
the space and
right.
And whatever.
A lot of them just ended up converting a quarter of their zone into an escape room or whatever it may be, and they already had the ability in house to kind of pull together a lot of what has to be done in an escape room.
Yeah.
I think now next step is upping the game beyond that. Let's see if the haunt people could keep up with theme parks. And where that goes, because now like we're building bigger and bigger. So, it'll be interesting. And this industry is still so new that to say like it'll be interested to see where it is in 5 years, because it's only been 5 years that the industry has even existed. So kind of take this as a middle ground, halfway point. Let's see where it is at the other end of the timeline. And if there's anyone even still doing 1 hour games, or if this becomes something much, much larger. Yeah. It's not going anywhere. That's one thing I think even the conferences have shined a light on, is that the industry is going nowhere. It's here to stay. People enjoy immersive entertainment. But it's definitely changing. And getting so much more expensive to freaking build.
If you want to do it right.
Freakshow is costing us a fortune, to put it bluntly. Which acts as a perfect segue to our discussion about behind the scenes of Freakshow. Which, by the way, Freakshow will be streaming on Trapdoor Escape Stream. So if you're not in the area, get that membership. Free trial still running. You get a 1 month free trial when you sign up, and then it's $11.99 monthly. But Trapdoor Escape Stream will be offering the Greatest Freakshow as a 2-hour streaming experience. It starts, I believe, mid-August on streaming. Wanted to do a few live shows, in-person shows before we start streaming that. So, oddly enough, on screen right now is kind of your first look at some still images from the Greatest Freak Show. We have the Strongman with his hammer. We have Loco the Clown looking quite evil. And Atina the Mermaid. One of the things actually in this image of Loco, I had commented when you posted this photo initially, is that she totally looks like she could be on set of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker movie.
Yeah, I had to watch the trailer like another 3 times to finally understand where, because I wasn't seeing it, and then I just realized it was just fluorescent lights. But yeah, I mean,
when is that coming out?
October.
Jinx. I'm the host now.
You're not gonna stop them.
No, but yeah, it looks really good. I'm legitimately surprised the shit out of myself for some of these.
I have to say, anytime I see the Boogeyman video, I'm very happy with the way I came out in that video.
In the briefing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like my hairline doesn't look like it's receding. It's well lit. And my forehead is doing work.
Special effects, right?
Like my forehead has lines in it that it's I feel like my forehead is doing half the acting.
No, I mean it was interesting because I do all the video work, but I don't do a lot of photography. So I mean I don't know if you have some of the actual photos that we did, but
yeah, we're gonna cycle through a few things. Some are just behind the scenes, and then some are the in work official photos.
Yeah, so the one that just came up now, I guess the previous one, we have our mermaid in the top corner,
and played by our very own Samantha.
Yeah, and that one, that's the one I keep going back to because I can never really decide how I want that one to look. But even out of camera, when I looked at it, I was like, "Holy shit, that's fucking good." So I mean. I just surprised myself. I have a lot of good ones too that I'll show everyone later on. But
this one works for me. That version of that photo works the best because it matches the fish tank lighting.
Oh yeah.
Which you're going to actually see a little bit of momentarily.
Just compositionally and as far as the lighting goes, I was just like, huh.
Yeah.
That looks really good. So I just as a photographer, I don't really have a lot of faith in my photography skills. So a lot of the photos that I managed to take for this game. Ended up surprising me quite a bit. Sam and Nick, I think, are the two characters that keep going. Our fire breather, Nick. I keep going back to their photos, Sam and Nick, and it's every photo I pull up, it's like, holy shit, these are fucking good.
Well, Nick is such a showman too.
Yeah.
The one thing I absolutely loved about working with Nick was, you guys come in and play the game, and all you really see is what we want you to see. But the hours that go into this, and even just shooting the stuff. I mean, we're basically presenting a freak show. There's a fairly large
except
stage.
3 or 4 takes.
Or actually, you could see our parts of our stage right here. In this one photo, there's actually a big crash pad because somebody has to go through some tumbling in the show, so we wanted to make sure everybody was safe. And like every show we've ever done, whenever there's a potentially dangerous stunt in it, I usually test it on myself first to make sure we're not going to kill any of our cast or crew. And oddly enough, this is the first time I got hurt in the stupidest way imaginable. That crash pad, I didn't think of the fact that when you hit it, there's so much air in it that I basically went down. Here, we'll need an actual shot of me to demonstrate it. But I went down, arms out, and basically just like dived down like that.
He belly flopped down.
I belly flopped it. Yeah, thank you, Mike. What I was not expecting was that when my body weight hit the center, the sides would poof, and I thought I dislocated my right shoulder.
Oh.
I literally hit and just rolled over like, ah!
And we all laughed at him.
As of course you did. I mean, why wouldn't you?
And then we asked him if he was all right.
But they asked. Yeah.
It's the thought that counts sometimes.
So, even when we did Witch Hunt, I jumped in the hanging harness and went through that a couple times. I ended up with rope burn. Or strap burn, whatever the hell you want to call it. But Dana had actual burns on her armpits from that.
And then it broke.
What else? The point is, so much goes into shooting these things. And in our previous stuff, with the exception of Cure Z, where you're looking at the zombies for a good amount of time.
I mean, this game has been so far the one with the least moving parts. I mean, there's a lot of filming. Yeah, as far as the actual production goes, I mean, the only thing we really needed to focus on was the performance.
Right, we're shooting their acts.
I mean, I mean, as far as camera work goes, this is probably the least dynamic of the games. Like we're not doing crazy shit with the camera.
No, the camera's locked down.
So much of what's going on screen is going to be.
This
massive.
was all choreography. Really,
so
this came down to a lot of live.
It's all spectacle. So I mean, this has been a pretty straightforward shoot, and the editing is surprisingly straightforward as well. It's not very complicated at all.
But on the same token, this was whenever you see found footage style movies, got to give them a little more credit sometimes for the fact that sometimes these movies are pulling off 20 minutes of shooting on one take.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and that's what was difficult, was to get the choreography to the point where we could do, an entire scene that was 12 minutes long on one take. Because as soon as someone screws up, you're back to one.
Well, I think that this is probably more complicated than a lot of the found footage movies, because found footage movies usually just have a very loose, this is what you do.
Right.
Whereas here, it's very strict choreography, this is what you need to do.
Yep.
So I think this would probably be a lot harder than found footage.
It's going to be visually dynamic, but I mean, we have these 12-minute long takes, but I mean, it's just like watching a play. Basically,
yeah.
So I mean, the camera work and whatnot isn't spectacle. It's the performance, but it's been pretty straightforward so far, and it's a lot of fun.
When the strongman comes out, the strongman does his board breaking routine, which was actually based off. I had told Josh the story of this when we were filming it. When I was 6-7 years old, I lived in Bayonne. There was a carnival going through town. And the martial arts studio that I ended up joining had this guy come out, and he broke different sized ice blocks. And the first one was this block about yay big, and he just boom, and then it would just crack. And then it was a bigger one, just boom, and then it would crack. And they brought out this ice block that was literally probably the size of a chest, I want to say 2 foot by 3 foot block. And he just came down, boom, and nothing happens, and then you just see the ice splinter, and it broke.
I always loved the laser reaction shit like that.
And from that moment on, you want to be
I joined that
martial
weekend.
arts showman.
Yep, I joined that weekend. and 13 years of that just so I could learn how he did that.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, we had done this one seminar with breaking wood. And, they'd bring out the block, go through the block, 2 blocks, go. This is really where the strongman routine came from, but inspired by the ice. But they brought out 5 blocks, and one girl in the class comes up. She had broken 4 previous. She goes in for the group of 5. Comes down. Boom! Blood. She actually severed the wood, like when it started to break, severed one of the veins.
Ooh.
And she was rushed to the emergency room. She basically, like...
Well, we thought
death.
Josh hurt himself too, because in the take that we actually end up using, when he smashes like the first board of wood,
he's like,
he
oh!
hits it, and he goes, ah! And we're like, oh shit, is he alive?
Oh no!
Like, took like a shard to like his ankle or something.
But it was just showmanship, though.
Just showmanship.
Yeah.
All right.
But
it was one block of wood, not the 3, not the 5. It was the first one.
That was one of those instances, though, of like, we had one take.
Yeah.
If it didn't work,
we were boned. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the challenge for all of our videos has always kind of been these, doing long takes, because we can't break the immersion of it, of the video being what it has to be. So like the witch hunt video is through a window, so we can't cut to close-ups. We can't really cut out of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it has to play out as life would normally play out, as if you were there. So if somebody screws up, you have to start at the beginning again. And then you have to keep going and going until you can work out that one kink. We did it. I mean, day 1 was like literally 15 hours. I think I had like a 17-hour day door to door.
And all we ate was bagels.
Yeah, all I had was bagels. And then day 2 was like 10 hours. I mean,
day 2 was smooth.
It was a much simpler day.
Yeah. But yeah, just everybody that was on set for that was a great experience. The camaraderie with everybody was
it was
phenomenal.
very fun.
So on screen right now we've got our very own Josh as the sword swallower. Josh does stunt work and stuff to that effect. He's also an indie pro wrestler, aspiring to make it big time. And what a showman! Josh was awesome.
No, he was fantastic.
And then Nick, who's legit fire breather.
He's my favorite.
Yeah, Nick is amazing. There's a moment that Nick does a hair flip, and yes, you're looking at a bald man on screen. That is like so in the moment gold.
His improv skills were incredible. I think that's really what sells his performance. So I have a couple of great photos of Nick. Some that I'm still working on. I have one really great one of Josh, our sword swallower, that I like quite a bit.
Well, let's talk about here's that great one of Nick.
Which one is it? Oh yeah. Oh man, it's worse now. Yeah. But yeah, obviously we couldn't have Nick fire spit
indoors.
I mean, the stage that you're looking at on the left side of the screen there is pretty much the size of the stage. And all of that is all flame retardant fabrics and stuff like that, but it's still like a 8-foot by 6-foot stage.
Yeah.
So we couldn't have him actually do it. So when
having said that, he does do firework on stage.
He does.
Don't think we're jipping you on the fire.
He doesn't spit 7-foot flames left and right.
He can do that outdoors.
But we didn't. Having him actually fire spit proved to be too much of a complication. It would be a big production in and of itself to make that happen.
We didn't necessarily think of the fact that we would have had to have been behind like heat. It
would have been like another full day of like actual production.
Yeah.
Just to.
And we would have had to have been in a glass pane box. We would have had to like figure out how to build the set to match the lighting and all of that stuff outside, which is just it's just too elaborate. But in the photo that you see of him actually fire spitting, I had enough foresight to put a light source above Nick, so he was always top lit. So this is all a bit more photoshopped, but you just down the exposure, bump the highlights, and then just start playing with color correction. I found this cool flame on Google and just
did it out. But
yeah, I'm definitely not spoiling the particular scene, but there's a spot in the experience there where Mike lit him so that it totally looks like the fire is backlighting him, and it's really beautiful.
His is some of my favorite stuff, and that photo is just one of my favorite pieces of work that I've done. But yeah.
So, talk about anatomy of a scene. Athena the mermaid in her fish tank.
Oh yeah. This is also one of those like really rewarding things. I think I had commented to you like when we were filming it, like this entire game could suck, but the fact that we were able to pull this,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
This
suck.
moment, it doesn't. But on the off chance that it does suck, I'm still very proud of this particular piece of footage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I wanted to get a little bit more. I wanted to save some time on the back end of production. I think Anthony had originally wanted to do a bit of green screen work, and I just wanted to do something a little bit more old school cinema magic. So what we did, basically, I don't know if you have a behind the scenes shot of this one or not.
I do not.
But what we did here was we had Sam in her mermaid outfit. We laid her down on a mat, and we went to Petco. And we bought like 4 or 5 bags of fish tank rocks, and we sprinkled that on the mat. We ended up borrowing like this marble rock bowl from a shop across the street. We ordered a fish tank backdrop that's like a 7-foot by 5-foot backdrop, which is why it has all the folds in it. We wanted like this very artificial looking backdrop. But basically, from there, we rigged like a 3-foot by 2-foot tray of water with a plexiglass bottom, filled that with water, rigged that above Sam. We shined a light through the water. We put a fan above the water as well to make the ripple effects. I lit the scene with 2 Quasar RGB LED tubes to get that kind of that bluish like blacklight colored look that you'd find in a fish tank. And then we put the camera in front of a smaller fish tank, like a 12-foot fish tank, and we pump bubbles through it.
Booyah! I got that image up.
All right, so yeah, you can pretty much see the entire rig right there. The camera, the fish tank in front of the camera, and then the actual set itself. So
it really came out amazing. A still photo genuinely does not do the shot justice.
It doesn't do it justice
Right,
at
so
all.
you're gonna have to come play the game to see the final product.
But with all the bubbles in the foreground and like all the water refraction shining down on Sam, it looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
I couldn't be happier with how that came out.
Yeah,
and,
the air bubbles especially really sell it because it's moving through water. It's not like we're just CGI, testing bubbles.
It's all practical in-camera effects, which given the crunch time that we have to edit it, is just all I gotta do is color correct it. I don't gotta worry about dropping in special effects. I don't gotta worry about keying out green screen. I just have to tweak the contrast a little bit, but nothing extensive. I just add some water, like sound effects and stuff too. But other than that, I don't have to do anything with it in the back end, so that saves me time.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Now, I genuinely do think that Freak Show is going to be the most amazing thing we have ever done, and maybe ever will do. I think we may have peaked.
It's all downhill from here, folks.
It's all downhill from here. Don't expect. I'm just retiring. After Freak Show's done, I'm leaving. Frank, you finish running things from here on out.
We can make the Frank clone game.
It's true. It's true. Frank has actually played.
Not technically in this one right now.
So many. No, we'll be recording vocals with you later.
Where's the poster?
Pinhead Larry. Yeah, pull Pinhead Larry. Let the world see Pinhead Larry.
No, I want to keep Pinhead Larry a surprise. I don't want to spoil Pinhead Larry.
Okay. All right. Mike doesn't want to spoil it, but
it's my favorite.
Essentially, there's stuff that I don't know. We got a little overambitious with this game.
You overambitious? Never.
And then
shocked and appalled.
Somehow it seems to all be coming together.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be overambitious, but if you can pull it off,
knocking on that wood.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody's playing their role and doing their part, and
definitely pumped for
great.
this. Definitely
Chris
pumped for this. This is gonna be great.
Killing it on the engineering
People are gonna
work,
love this game.
Which actually we have to go to Denville to pick up a bunch of stuff from his place
Today?
Yeah, there's like 30 boxes there.
Yay, 30 boxes.
So we have to go get that stuff in a little bit. But anyway, back to you guys. Freak Show. I think it's going to be a massive game changer because even though we don't have a live, cast in the room with you, it very much
going to
is
feel
both
like they are.
show
Yeah.
and escape room.
Yep.
So. Yeah, I'm very proud of the work that we've been doing. Like genuinely, like the video work looks great. It's probably the best looking stuff that we've shot in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I love some of the Boogeyman stuff too. Like the briefing video for Boogeyman is, I love that one.
I love Jack's dad.
That whole.
Yeah, Jack's dad came out really good too.
Yeah. The fact that when
the favorite thing that I've done
in Boogeyman, there's a I'm sure you could find photos online of it, but there's a room you go into, and there's a TV screen recessed into a door frame, and like a 62 or 65-inch screen or whatever, vertical, and it's paused basically on a closed door of like a still shot, and when you walk in and step in the right area, the door opens. And Jack's abusive dad is waiting in the door frame and like reams you out for not cleaning up your room and stuff, whatever.
He gave a hell of a performance.
Yeah,
and the actor was terrific. He just went for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm having a lapse. I fucking can't remember his name.
But
I asked him like, "What do you want to do? You want to crank it to 11 first or work your way up?" And he's like, "Let's just fucking do it." And like
11 it is.
He went to 12, and it worked. But I mean, the briefing video for Boogeyman. Between Frank
and then the kid getting ripped through the closet.
The whole like I think it's like a 7-minute video, or we chopped it from 7 minutes. But I mean, it's just like 7 minutes of so much information being given to you from different facets. So we have Frank, we have nanny cam footage of one of the kids getting kidnapped by the Boogeyman. We have interviews with the kids' parents, which is very emotional. Then we have Frank, with the urgency of having to save the kids. That whole thing is my favorite.
The opening is like The Conjuring meets Paranormal Activity meets Ghostbusters, all wrapped into one ball.
There's just so
Which
many,
is what Boogeyman really is.
There's so many different levels of things to watch in that particular video.
I positively love when the kid gets sucked in though, and
that's my favorite.
You'll get people that are in the waiting, watching the video in the room, and they'll be oh
yeah, it gets a big reaction too. That's one of my one of my favorite things that I've done.
But yeah, this definitely I think set a new bar though. This is the first thing we've ever done that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like everything we've done so far is either like a serial killer or the Boogeyman or a supernatural presence or a zombie apocalypse. Even F5, it's basically a field that's at least had a tornado through once.
Yeah.
Witch Hunt is like intentionally old, dirty, 1600s, gritty. This is the first game we've ever made where it's like the fabric work is just beautiful and like the
it's beautiful colors and environment.
It's a very vibrant, colorful game. So you better like it.
Rafi, agree. The kid flying through the door was the perfect tone setter. Yeah.
Thank you, Rafi. Appreciate it.
Little trade secret was the game didn't open with that.
That was something I think I shot like 2 weeks after we opened.
Yeah, we were too crunched for time. We intended, but we never got to actually shoot it in time for the opening.
And then we had to reshoot the opening to include all the things that we had added into the opening.
Yeah.
With your elaborate videos, do your players watch them, or do they let them play in the background and start immediately searching the room instead? Corporate groups start immediately searching the room.
It definitely depends on the type of person.
I like to think you watch them, given all of the time and effort that we put into it.
Well, for the briefing videos, we make people watch them, so that's one thing.
You kind of have to watch the briefing
you have to
video
watch that,
because otherwise you don't know what to do.
But the in-game videos, I think people are when the father comes through the door, they're watching. Until something changes,
Todd Vegas
they're
says
watching.
They get about 50-50. Honestly, it depends on how you're presenting the videos.
Yeah.
I think that most of our players are trained pretty early on into the experience that the videos are going to be crucial to the experience.
Yeah, and I think
they're not just video for the sake of video. They're usually furthering the development of the story, and the puzzles are are originating out of the story.
Yeah, Boogeyman, the videos in Boogeyman really like demand your attention.
Yeah.
Because I mean, some of them are just activated by something that you do.
Right.
So like, you know, with the abusive dad, that door swings open, like you see that movement in the corner of your eye, and you're immediately drawn to it.
Yeah.
You know, all of the video work in Boogeyman really forces you to pay attention to it. It catches your eye, and you have to watch it, and it's pretty engulfing. And the reactions that one has gotten have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very much a situation of you got to make sure that what you're putting on film is exhilarating enough to keep their attention.
Right.
You know, and it's got to have. You know, at the end of the day, this is an immersive experience. It's not a movie, so the content does need to further your
right.
experience.
And there's a fine line between having something go on too long. You know, you want to keep it brief and focus their attention right from the beginning, and then even if the thing loops or whatever, you don't want it to be too long because then they get bored with it and they don't pay attention to it anyway.
Now, having said that, Freak Show does have some content that's not required viewing.
Yes, but
really
Freak
cool.
Show is really is cool and a lot more fun.
But
And it's part of the show.
the video,
like you can enjoy the video and still
the video isn't crucial so much to gameplay, but
the environment.
in order to make the
Certain
in
parts
order to have the
right.
environment make sense, there needs to be these things happening.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
all right.
It's not arbitrary, but like it's arbitrary to the gameplay itself, but it's not arbitrary to the environment that we've created. So without it, it would kind of be, you know.
If you guys enjoy listening to us rant about behind-the-scenes stuff as far as how we create our experiences, by all means, comment below. We'll do some more content on that. But you know, we're under 10 minutes left till an hour is up, and we still haven't touched a news story. So let's jump ahead. Frank, this was kind of all you. Wizards Unite.
Right, yeah. So the Harry Potter Wizards Unite game came out a week last Friday. And it's an AR game, meaning that, you know, it uses augmented reality, and basically if you've played Pokemon Go or played it with your kids, it's from the same company, so a lot of the aspects wind up being the same. But the Harry Potter one uses the Harry Potter license, and you just turned off my camera, okay. The Harry Potter uses the Harry Potter license to do basically what the Pokemon game does. In this case, you're trying to find wizarding stuff that has been put out of place, and you have to put it back where it belongs. So it's a really good use of the license because it uses all the music and the visuals and aspects of the movie series. So that's really cool.
I hear they're having problems though, and it's not reaching the numbers of like Pokemon Go.
It is not. It is not reaching the numbers of Pokemon Go. It is not reaching the sales numbers of Pokemon Go. When Pokemon Go came out, I think it was summer 2016. It was huge, and people were spending a lot of money on it, and it was getting millions of downloads, and the Harry Potter game is not quite getting there. And the reason is it does have one major problem. The thing that you need to do anything in the game, your energy, runs out, and it's very difficult to get it back. Like, you have to really do the walking and find the hotspots or whatever, and very specific hotspots, not like Pokemon had, you know, whenever you go somewhere, you get the stuff that you need to catch Pokemon. This isn't the case here. It's only like 1 out of every 4 of the places gives you back energy. And that's a big problem, because when you run out of energy, you can't do anything.
How much does the app cost?
It doesn't cost anything.
It's a free app?
Free app.
How do they make
They're
their
all
money?
free apps. Well, from in-app purchases.
Oh, in-app. Okay.
Yeah, but Pokemon had a lot of them. Like, you have your limit on how many Pokemon you could have, and people bought to expand that. You know, like there was stuff to buy for that. The Harry Potter game does get very boring after a while, and there's nothing you can do if you don't have any energy. So you have to go out and walk, as opposed to having a stock of Pokeballs that you could keep throwing at things. So
I
it's a big
obviously
difference.
did not play Pokemon Go. Did you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I was.
So yes. No.
I was fortunate or unfortunate enough to be in several car rides with people who played Pokemon Go at my old job, and we would drive around and they'd pull up the app and then be, oh wait, there's a Gyarados over there, so they'd have to like pull over on our lunch break to go find the Gyarados.
Well, that's actually another big problem with the Harry Potter game.
That drastically died.
Yes.
I mean, from what I understand, Pokemon Go is still making them a ton of money.
Yeah, but it died. It was red hot in 2016.
It was so red hot.
Yeah.
I remember Red Bank, literally, our parking lot had like 50 freaking people in it, and they were all playing Pokemon Go. No one could park.
Yeah. I mean, another problem with it is that you don't see, like, you know how in the Pokemon game it would be like, there's a Gyarados over there, they got to pull over. In the Harry Potter game, you don't see what it is that you're trying to get until you actually click on it. You wouldn't want to go out of your way to do it.
It sounds like they just kind of like complicated the gameplay.
We sold tickets.
They may have,
because there were creatures in our
too.
building. They were like, "You got to let us upstairs." We were like, "You buy a ticket." So people paid to play QRZ, and they didn't play. They just went in to go get whatever they were getting, and then a few of them were like, "Let's play it out." But you know.
No, that one summer, the parking lot was packed every day.
Every single day. There'd be like 2 a.m. We'd be like locking up. There'd be people walking the streets still in hordes.
And I don't know if it might be an issue with that they did overcomplicate it, possibly to go for an older audience.
Right.
And maybe that backfired for them.
No, I mean, like, Pokemon kind of appealed to, because,
everybody.
The generation of kids, people my age, I mean, we grew up on the cards.
I'm more interested in this than Pokemon.
I know plenty of parents that took their kids to do Pokemon.
Yeah, but, like, we're also the same generation who grew up with Harry Potter.
Right.
So, I mean...
Now, having said that, though, like, from that marketing aspect, did they let this float on Harry Potterdom? Or did they actually market this? Because I barely heard jack shit about this.
Yeah, this is the first time.
That's actually a good point, because I got emails about it, but that was pretty much it. I didn't really hear about it too much from other places.
Does Rowling have anything to do with this, or is just Warner Brothers?
Probably just Warner Brothers. I mean, I'm sure she's getting a cut.
I'm sure AT&T was all over this because now that it's Warner Media and it's AT&T and Warner Brothers.
It's the same. I mean, it's the same company that did the Pokemon game. So
is it?
Yeah, it's using the same. It uses the same engine basically, and even uses all. You know how we had in Red Bank, there was the 3 spots that were surrounding our building. Basically, it's the same thing, the same exact spots. But now, instead of it just being one thing, they're all different things.
They copied and pasted
and reskinned it, basically.
There was just something beautifully simplistic about walking around and throwing balls at Pokemon.
Isn't there a Ghostbusters?
Yeah. I just saw that the Ghostbusters one just came out. I was thinking of looking at it. I don't think it's the same company. But it does sound like it's a lot of the same thing. It's going around catching ghosts.
That sounds amazing.
But I don't think it's the same company, so I don't know. But very good use of the license, so if you are a fan of the Harry Potter films, you should definitely check it out.
I'm a big fan of augmented reality apps.
Yeah.
But they need to get more visually live action.
Okay, well, one use of AR, because I always turn off the AR when I'm trying to catch things, because it's just a distraction. One great use of AR that you can't even turn off, because it could be dangerous if you did, they have port keys in the game that you have to walk to open up. So, port key is like a thing that you touch and you would teleport somewhere else in the Harry Potter world. In this game, they have
like the trailer
things that you got to walk.
Studios.
Kind of.
Back in the day.
But in this case, when you open a port key, you have to put it down somewhere. So it uses AR to do that to make sure you're not putting it in the street. Because once you put it down, you actually have to walk towards it. And then in AR, you get teleported to a different place when you walk towards it. So it opens up a portal that you actually physically walk through, and then on your phone you're in a different place. So that's kind of cool.
Are you spending more time at work on the Avengers app or on Harry Potter?
I'm not spending time at work on apps at all. Why would I be doing that? That's wrong.
So buy or sell. Is Wizards Unite a good game, or is it kind of underwhelming?
It was good at first, but it did get boring very quickly. We'll see if they do an update and it gets better again, but I did get a little bored with it after a little while, but I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're a fan of the films or Pokemon Go or both.
Overwhelming, yes, to more behind-the-scenes content.
All right, cool. Gives me something to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, next up on our topic list, Earthbreak.
All right, so I guess okay, there it is.
It's broken.
So yeah, it's another one of the monthly subscription boxes. There have been a couple of them that tried to be like an immersive kind of game. This one sounds like it's a monthly subscription that when you get it, It encourages online action with other players, so it's like they try to form a sense of community. So with everybody playing, they can help each other out, or just talk about it, analyze it. So you play as one of the only survivors after an alien decimation. You live in a bunker, but then there's a murder in the bunker, and you have to investigate the murder.
Always murder mysteries. Always a murder mystery.
That's the thing. It's like you have that setup of alien invasion and this alien decimation, and it's a murder mystery. Like it sounds like it's a really cool setup, and then it's a murder mystery, and maybe it'll go somewhere different in the future. That's just how the story starts, and it'll have twists and turns. I don't know, but it seems like squandering a nice setup.
I mean, the thing with us is that a lot of the puzzles and course games that we do always kind of go back to murder mysteries because it lends itself so well
to a tabletop game.
But, you have alien invasions. Like we have our Area 51 game, which is not a murder mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
it has elements.
Elements, but it's not explicitly a murder mystery. It's interesting, but yeah, as you said, I think it kind of squanders. The larger picture sounds a lot more interesting than the smaller picture that the game is focusing on.
Right.
But it's mail based and online based.
No, it's mail based. So you get like a box in person every month, like the kind of like the gift boxes that subscription services, and then you play out the game for that month. And I guess if you're stuck or if you want to just talk about it with other people, they do have like an online community that they're trying to. That they want you to interact with.
Interesting. It's funny because
I don't think you have to, but yeah.
John Byrne
strikes me very as alternate reality gaming meets tabletop escape room.
Yeah.
I mean, the mail thing is so funny because I read about this maybe like 2 years ago. John Byrne, the comic book artist who did X-Men back in the 70s, someone had signed him up for one of these, like these mail subscription based like murder mysteries. And he kept getting all of these things in the mail, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" Like he didn't know it was a game, so he's getting all of these things in the mail.
How pervasive do you like your gaming?
And he just like lost his mind because he didn't know what the hell was happening. He's getting all of these pseudo legal documents about murders and missing people. And someone on his message board finally fessed up, was like, "It was me. I signed you up for this puzzle thing. I thought you'd get a kick out of it." And I think the guy was promptly banned from the forums. But
I mean, if it confused him, then the game was probably pretty well done.
It may have been, but John Byrne he has a reputation of being a little out of touch.
Just a little.
But
a little.
I mean, if you're gonna do that to somebody, though, like we've always talked about that, these escape room concepts are foreign to people even my age, like around 30 years old. So I mean, sending it to like a baby boomer who has no conception of these things is probably not a good idea.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, my parents would not be able to figure that out
without telling them what they were in for to begin with. But I thought that was really funny as an amusing anecdote regarding mail-in escape rooms, murder mysteries, and stuff.
We can skip that last one if you want. Because I know
might as well just go through it real quick.
No, this one, but then the next one. Okay, yeah. So the Institute for American Indian Studies in Washington, Connecticut, they're building an escape room within a wigwam for the purposes of teaching about pre-European Native American life, and I think that's pretty interesting. Another example of using the escape room format for learning, which we're a big fan of.
Yep.
And from what I read in the article, they had no, the Native Americans at that time had no like written language. So like, whereas in a lot of escape rooms will use the diary or letters or whatever, we do that plenty of times ourselves. They couldn't do that this time because there was no written language for the time period that they're trying to depict. So that's a really cool design note that they had to design around not being able to use words, and I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Do they use like pictographs or something? Or?
I'm guessing so. But the other interesting thing is it is just a wigwam, so it's like a 20 by 20 foot space. So it's got to be a pretty small game.
Yeah.
Pretty small,
well,
pretty short game.
We have a photo up of the actual thing, right? No?
I don't know. I see bananas.
You see bananas?
Yeah. I think that's what that is. What's the yellow things that guy's holding?
Oh, yeah, that's the game space.
Well, that looks a little better than I thought, actually, because when I think of like a wigwam that I've seen, it's almost like a 1 or 2 person space that you can't really do anything but sleep in.
Wigwam.
TP, but they call it the wigwam.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a difference between a wigwam and a teepee, and I'm just thinking of a teepee. But anyway,
okay. Well,
they're in a wig. If that is the gameplay, that actually looks more spacious than I thought. So maybe it's actually cool. But either way,
it's a pretty fascinating idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah. Either way, it's a great idea, and if you're in the Washington, Connecticut area, you should probably check that out.
okay. Escape to the Big Top.
Yeah.
It's not us.
It's not us.
How convenient.
Norwegian Cruise Line actually has a game on their cruise ships that it's, from what I can read and what I can figure out, it sounds like it's basically just a series of tables that people have to solve.
Yeah, we have
Have
an
to get
image
into
of the
boxes.
actual.
Have to get into boxes or play carnival games to get a code, which
Sounds awfully familiar.
which sounds awfully familiar because I mean it's we do the last couple of years we've done Puzzles and Corks Carnival.
And not for nothing, the logo that you had up on the screen, I'm pretty sure I used the same font for our Big Top game at one point. Maybe for like the preliminaries, but the Big Top logo.
Oh yeah,
that font, I'm pretty sure
yeah,
I used
that does look
So we're gonna have some words, you and I.
Norwegian.
But yeah, it sounds like a higher budget Puzzles and Corks.
Yeah.
But
It just the delayed reaction.
but it goes to show that escape rooms are infiltrating every facet of entertainment.
It also shows the lengths people will go to rip off trapdoor escape room.
Well, when you're at the top of the ladder. And a lot of times people ask us what it takes to get to the top of the ladder at Trapdoor. And we threw this together really quick. This was a text message between myself and Christina last night. And then this is how Christina showed up this morning when I pulled into the parking lot. So, what's the plan for tomorrow? Meet at the Poconos at
10:43
at 3. Yeah, particularly 43, not 5. Make sure you're wearing yellow socks, which you can't see in the photo, but she's wearing yellow socks. And and be holding the cardboard. So yeah, there you go. That's what it takes. That's what it
you
takes.
gotta love an employee that follows instructions.
That is devotion.
Was that at 10:43 sharp?
Yep.
I
She
want
was.
I want to see the timestamp.
She was directly on target. Well, I showed up at like 10:44, and she was already in position.
Oh, so you showed up late.
That was intentional. You got to make them wait.
Whole minute.
But yeah, we figured we'd embarrass her on air with that, so that was fun.
It's on the internet where it will never be.
But Christina's the one who actually edits the minis, so technically she could probably pull the
she
plug on this
could
and I
edit
wouldn't
out
even
the
know.
last minute.
Everybody's screenshotting that image right now.
Screenshot it quick! Rewind! So that's it for this week's show.
Yeah.
Next week is episode 10!
Big anniversary.
The big 10 anniversary. We could put up our own Marvel Studios logo with that and leave it up for the next 6 months, even though it's no longer the 10th year.
The final episode is going to be pretty intense when we do our trap
Endgame.
escape stream endgame.
Speaking of Endgame, is it gonna catch Avatar with the re-release? Sort of re-release. It's not even a re-release. It's more of an extended release with new stuff. It never left theaters.
It's catching up, but I don't think it caught it yet.
All of the new footage is after the credits.
I have a
Is it
feeling
really?
that it's going to
that's
catch
what I
it
read.
when it goes to home release.
No, but that's not box office then.
Yeah, but for overall gross.
I don't think that's what they're talking about though. They put it back out in the movie so that it gets box office.
Yeah, because that's where you get your most explosive revenue from.
Anyways,
But that's what they're trying to beat Avatar with anyway. But yeah, it will definitely.
both
beat
movies sucked, so it doesn't really matter.
Wow!
Endgame didn't suck.
Oh,
It's all right, Frank.
Avatar
debatable.
Avatar did.
Debatable.
I don't think it's debatable.
I have to be incendiary once in a while on the show.
That's right.
We got to keep the views up.
I keep saying we have to be a little more contrary on the show to make it more exciting.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed the show, throw us a like, Make sure you're subscribing to our YouTube channel, and make sure above all that you have your membership for Trapdoor Escape Stream. Only $11.99 a month with your free first month trial. New content on Escape Stream. We have Theater of the Devils on there. We have National Security queued up as of today.
That's a cool one.
So National
Those are
Security
two of our favorite puzzles and courses.
as well as I think there's only one showing date left for F5. Boogeyman, Cure Z, Witch Hunt, and of course joining the stream in mid-August will be The Greatest Freakshow, our 2-hour musical. So lots and lots of stuff. Make sure to join us next week, Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, right here on our YouTube channel.
And everybody have a happy 4th of July.
Yes! Happy 4th of July. Freedom! Good night, everybody.
Good.